happy Tuesday to you. So we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So when you come on, please tell me hello. If you're watching right this second over on Facebook, it's likely you're watching the replay. Please put hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. We love to know that. So today we are going to work on a spring. Now looking at the wreath behind me, you wouldn't think that we were going to work on a spring wreath. I actually just went up in the attic and grabbed a Christmas wreath that we had in the attic. It's just a regular green Christmas wreath that usually you would put just a pretty red bow on and hang on your door. Today we are going to use this as our base for our wreath form. It's actually going to have all spring flowers on it, and I thought we would do that together. I don't believe I've ever done one of these on a video for you before. Very seldom do I use them as a base, but I was actually watching a video of her name is Ashley, and she is the owner of Three Little Greenwoods, which is, she does wreaths. She teaches wreath design and does lots of beautiful wreaths. Anyway, I thought, I'll try that. Something different, something new that we haven't done before. So I'm going to use this wreath form as my base, and I promise it's not going to look like a Christmas wreath when we get done. I have lots of beautiful blooms that we're going to work with today. We're going to work with some pretty white peonies, these beautiful yellow garden looking roses. This is called a mountain peony bush, which kind of is, it's a little prickly. It's really pretty. I mean, it kind of has little pointy petals. Really a pretty bush. And then these beautiful antique blue hydrangeas that have just a splash of pink kind of down in the center of those blooms. And then we're going to use a little bit of purple heather. And then I've got some bead grass greenery, and so we are just going to make a pretty solid floral wreath. When you come on, please tell me hello. Tell me how you're doing today. Tell us where you're from. Victoria's here, and she can read the comments on all the platforms. So y'all ask questions. Talk to me. All the things. We'd love to talk to you while I'm working. So I'm going to start out with some of the leaves that were on the hydrangeas. I just went and I cut my stems apart. So they came in 5 stem bushes. I cut those stems apart and I pulled the greenery off of the stems. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue pan, and I'll show that to you because it's going to be right off the screen. This is a glue pan. It's just a floral glue pan. We use it a lot in silk flower arranging, and so I have just heated up some glue pellets in my glue pan, and I am just going to take and dip my individual stems down in that glue and then tuck it into my wreath. So I'm going to take my leaves, I'm just holding them together. There are 2 leaves per stem, and I'm just going to come kind of on the outside, tucking it all the way around.
You have lots of hellos.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Miss Mildred asks, how much will this cost? It's a great idea.
Miss Mildred, I am not exactly sure. I will have to add it all up when I get it finished, and I can certainly let you know.
Miss Janine Marshall over on YouTube says, hi, good evening, Monty and Victoria. I'm watching from the UK.
So glad you're here, friend. Thank you for watching.
Sacred Serenity Naturescapes says, hey there, oh, it's Cam on TikTok. Says, hey there, can't wait to see what you create.
Hello, friend. Hello. How are you doing?
Miss Deborah's watching from England. Snazzy Sock says, hi, Monty, lovely to see you today.
So glad you're here, sweet friend. Thank you for being here.
For His Glory 0411 says, hello from Wisconsin. That's a great idea, and sent us 1 rose.
Oh, thank you for the rose, friend. Thank you.
And thank you, Marcia Amos, for the follow over on TikTok.
Ooh, wow. Getting follows early. Thanks, guys. Thank y'all for being here. So again, I am just taking these hydrangea leaves. Anytime you're working with faux flowers, artificial flowers, and you pull the greenery off, if you will save those leaves, and it doesn't matter what variety they are, if you would save those leaves, it helps to in your wreaths. It always gives you a little extra greenery, and it didn't cost you extra because you were going to toss it, right? So I'm just taking that stem and dipping it right into my glue and just tucking it right down into that Christmas wreath. And I just kind of went around the perimeter. Next, I'm going to come in with some bead grass. Now, we have these small bushes of bead grass. It's a little different than the bead grass I have had in the past. This is a little bit different. It doesn't have the blades. I do have some ordered so I can make some pretty bead grass wreaths, but I got this in and I cut it apart. So I just took those stems and just kind of cut it apart. And so we will use this greenery in this wreath also.
Janine Marshall asks, what is the greenery you're using in the wreath before that?
Okay, so this is just a Christmas wreath that I just went up in our attic and I pulled down a Christmas wreath that we had in the attic. I pulled off the bow and I decided to make a spring wreath using this Christmas wreath. Now I just added a little bit of hydrangea greenery, so it was just the greens that were on the stems of hydrangeas. Next I'm going to come in with a little bit individual pieces of bead grass. So I'm dipping them in my glue and I am just going to kind of tuck that bead grass around the wreath.
Barbara Hammer says, hello from Hattiesburg, love your work.
Hello, sweet friend, glad you're here. Thank you for watching.
Cam says, I'm doing wonderful. I get to watch my best friends in Mississippi. Is the weather bad over there?
It is. The wind has been extremely high. The rain started, around 2:30, would you say, Victoria? About 2:30. It's been thundering and lightning. I don't know if we'll have any major weather, but we will head home as soon as we finish our video.
Karen Parrish Wreath Decor over on TikTok says, I just adore watching you. Can't wait to see what you design.
Oh, friend, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here.
User 3267, thank you for the follow.
Again, what I'm doing is I am just taking individual little stems of greenery. And this is a type of bead grass. I just cut it up. I think there were seven stems per little bush. And I am just kind of going in and out just to kind of cover up a little bit of that Christmas greenery. That's our goal, is to cover it up so you don't see that this was a Christmas wreath.
Cal M. Davis over on TikTok asks, what is the best source for quality stems and silks?
So, all of the, well, I say all, most of the silks that you see here that I am fixing to use came from a company called David Christopher's. I love their quality. And honestly, they're really a great price. So this is 7 stems of peonies, and they retail for $11 for 7 stems, and they're really, really pretty blooms. The roses, I cannot remember the company that I got the roses from. I'll have to look that up. I can't remember the company, but I know David Christopher's carries those also. They also carry these pretty pink peony bush, so that pretty soft. They didn't have a real hot pink one, but they did have all of these. That one's the same price, the $11 price. And then the hydrangeas, I believe they're $11, and I got those from David Christopher's. So if you'll go check them out, www.shopdavidchristopher.com. They have lots of pretty stuff, very, very reasonable. So I'm going to come in now. I'm going to put some more bead grass in, but I'm going to come in with my larger blooms next. And I will tell you that I am not a professional wreath maker. I know you all know that, but This is not what I do all day, every day, and I know that there are some amazing wreath makers out there, so y'all give me grace if I don't do it exactly how everybody else does. So I'm just using my wire snips, and I'm just cutting all of the stems apart on that bead grass. And I like to take it and just work it kind of up that stem. Kind of flare it out a little bit. And dip it right into my glue. And then just press it right into that wreath.
Ramona and Snow White Trucks, thank you for the follows on TikTok.
So glad you're here, guys. Thank you for being here.
Cam says that yellow, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Isn't that pretty, Cam?
They are expecting us to have isolated tornadoes. Yikes. He says. Over on YouTube, Miss D says hello.
Hello, Miss D. Hello, hello, sweet friend.
M. Archer says hi from not too far away in Hernando. Love your channel.
So glad you're here, my friend. Thank you for watching. Okay, added a little bit of greenery. I will come back with more greenery. I'm going to take my hydrangeas. Now, let me tell you, the secret to fluffing silk flowers is to use a steamer, a clothes steamer. I do not have my clothes steamer out today. But if you have any kind of florals, faux florals that are squished, because they come so tightly packaged, if you have any that are really squashed, you can take that clothes steamer and steam those blooms, and they will just open up. They will look brand new.
Angeline Reese on Facebook asks if you can use this wreath again.
You probably can. Now, you would want to glue stuff down in it. You probably won't reuse it, but you could if you wanted to. Because I am gluing everything right down into it. Now, you could take and zip tie all of your individual blooms right down in. The only thing is that is extremely a lot of work. So, if you wanted to zip tie everything in, you can, but I would just tell you it's a lot of work.
Miss Margaret Lynch wants to know how Callie was feeling today.
She is better. She was back at work today. She was a little puny, though. She said she had food poisoning from the weekend. Bless her heart.
Dawn Miller says, I loved the video of Mr. Todd going to work.
Wasn't that funny, Dawn? He's so funny.
Lynn Hines says, hi, Monty from England. How are you all today? Spring is on its way here at least.
Oh, we are wonderful at last. So glad it's here, right? I had Miss Cheryl. She watches all of our videos. Miss Cheryl is from, where is she from?
Miss Cheryl from Michigan?
Michigan.
Okay.
And she's under Edward. Yes. Miss Cheryl is from Michigan, and I posted something about spring is here, and she said in the South it's here. She said, but not where I am. She said it won't be for 3 more months, or 2 months. And I said that would be so sad.
Actually, she says...
Is she here?
Well, she says, hello, hope you had a good day. It was a rainy day here. I'm excited to see how this turns out.
Hello, Miss Cheryl. I was just talking about you. So these are those, I'm throwing them on the floor. These are those white peonies, or peonies. I don't know how you say it. Again, these all came from David Christopher. So I'm just taking each stem, and I'm just gluing them, popping them with some glue, and tucking them right down into my wreath.
Snazzy Socks says, I love those yellow roses. They're so pretty.
Aren't they beautiful?
Cam says, I love the bead grass. I need to get some soon, and prayers for Callie.
Thank you, thank you. She is feeling better. She really is.
Chris Fry says, went on a video search today to find your standing spray with the grapevine swirling down. I need to do a spray for a funeral. I remembered how much I liked that one that you did about a year ago.
Did you find it? I can probably go in and find it for you if you didn't find it. So I'm just taking and tucking these white peonies right down into the wreath. I am dipping every stem into glue. The wonderful part about using the the Christmas wreath is the glue really bonds really well. I mean, it'll cling to that wreath really well. Okay, there's the white peonies that I tucked in. Next we will come in with these pretty pink ones.
Chris says, yep, he did fine.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Miss Gloria says, we just had snow again this morning. I am so ready for spring.
I bet. You know, there's advantages and disadvantages to living in the South. The advantages are we do have spring early, but the disadvantage is we have summer too, a hot summer. I love these pretty pink, so pretty. So I'm just taking each stem, and you can see I'm just kind of spreading them out throughout the wreath, just kind of here and there.
I Need More Cowbell on TikTok says hi and shared our live video.
Thank you for the share, friend. Thank you for being here.
Dodge Coart liked our live.
Thank you so much. If you are enjoying this video, guys, please give us a thumbs up or a heart. It just helps us to be seen, so please do that.
Carol Pierce says, hey, Monty, Miss Jane would be thrilled to see you on TikTok.
Hey, sweet friend. Tell her I said hello. I have not talked to her in so long.
American Flower Farm says, I just got here. How are you covering up the Christmas greenery?
So, I did add some pretty greens in. Next, I'm coming in with my flowers, and then I will finish with more greenery. So, it's just going to be, you'll just keep adding flowers to cover all that greenery. I do have plenty more bead grass that I'll come in.
Dawn Miller says, reminder clock spring forward on March 9th.
Can you believe it? It's time to move those clocks forward. I'm glad. I really like longer, prettier days. Okay, I'm going to take our roses. Now, this bush is so pretty. And that one has 2 roses. I'm going to use all of this pretty greenery to help me cover up our Christmas wreath form. So see all that pretty greenery? When you're making arrangements with artificial flowers, if you will just have even a bag or a box that you can throw all of those excess leaves in, you can use those in any kind of wreath, and it's going to help you with covering, and it doesn't cost extra. So if you will save those, and that's coming from someone who is a hoarder when it comes to all these craft supplies. And I know that they get overwhelming, but see how pretty that greenery is? We'll tuck that in.
Miss Ladine says no yellow in this wreath earlier and said, oh, there's
Just
yellow.
kidding.
LOL.
Just kidding.
Connie says, hi, Monty and Victoria. Just got my spring flowers out, and now we are getting blizzard warnings and 4 to 7 inches of snow. She says, Minnesota weather.
Oh, my goodness. I cannot imagine.
She says, love watching you. I'm getting lots of pointers. What is the best wire cutter for artificial flowers?
So this is my favorite one, and they've worked wonderful. This is Cobalt brand, just wire snips. I picked them up from Lowe's. I know that you can order them online, but I have found them wonderful, and they don't hurt your hand.
Gail Smith asks, where do you get your bead grass?
So I ordered some of my bead grass. I ordered from a company called TMI Gifts. If you've never seen them, I know that they are here on TikTok. I believe they're over on Facebook. She does a lot of YouTube videos too. They are out of Golden, Mississippi. And she has a lot of floral supplies. She's got a lot of ribbons and all the things. I ordered some of the bead grass from them for a pretty good price. And then I think that's where I ordered that bead grass. That looks like this. That's where this came from, is TMI. And if you're interested, send me a message and I'll try to give you a link for their website. Okay, next I am going to come in with some of these roses.
On TikTok, Lisa Guy Perkins, thank you for the follow. Carol Pierce says, I sure will. Cam says, I shared the video and I used to keep scrap foam.
Yes, scrap foam is a good thing to keep too.
Snazzy Socks says, I have storage boxes for my artificial flowers, Monty. I find the boxes great for storage.
Yes, it works so good.
Karen Parrish Wreath Decor says, we have some also at White Bayou Wreaths and Supplies.
Thank you for plugging that. Thank you. I'm so glad you did that. Yes. Was that over on?
That was on TikTok.
TikTok. Mm-hmm. What was the name of their company one more time?
Karen Parrish Wreath Decor is the one who commented, but she was talking about White Bayou Wreaths and Supplies.
White Bayou Wreaths. I've never ordered from you, but I'll certainly go check that out. Thank you.
Dawn Miller says, Tuesday tip was great with the carnations.
Thanks, Miss Dawn.
Kathy Curry says, I recognize those roses from your headstone arrangement tutorial. I love them.
Yes, aren't they so pretty? I at first did not. I had pulled all of the David Christopher stuff, but it needed something, and you know I think everything needs yellow, so I grabbed those roses for this wreath.
Cam says, I never thought of using Christmas greenery. I love this.
Isn't it great? It really fills in, doesn't it? I mean, it's really full and easy to work with.
Karen says, the bead grass is flying off the shelves.
Isn't it crazy? It is so crazy at how that really became a big thing lately.
Miss Margaret Lynch says, Monty, I have another funeral wreath tomorrow.
Oh, Miss Margaret, I'm so sorry to hear that. I think we're going to come in with some more of the white. This wreath form really does make it easy to make a really full and showy wreath. Now you could easily take something like this and you could hang a sign in it if you wanted to. You could add ribbon to it. You can leave it all by itself. You don't have to add anything to it. Again, I'm dipping every stem right down into that glue.
Mary Beth Raymond says, I love this wreath.
Thank you, sweet friend. And you'll keep layering with just however many stems it takes to get it as full as you want it.
Annie over on TikTok asks, what tall real greens would you recommend for the base of an arch? Looking for fullness too, please.
Say it one more time, Victoria.
What tall real greens would you recommend for the base of an arch? Looking for fullness too, please.
Okay, and you want it rigid, like straight up and down. Some of the greenery that we use, I'm listening to. I think that's the tornado warning. You would, if you want rigid and straight up, I would say myrtle is a good one. A good foliage to kind of give you that line. Now it's not real full, but it does give you kind of that rigid look. Another one that's really a good one is Italian ruscus. It kind of gives you that drapey, that drippy look.
Oh, Annie says like flowy.
Flowy would be that Italian ruscus. Full, you might want to try Springer Rye fern, but now it bites, so you have to be careful with Springer Rye. It really, it has thorns that will bite.
Kathy Curry asks, what will this wreath retail for?
I'll have to look, Miss Kathy. I'll add it all up. It's not really nearly as expensive as you would think. The individual bushes are like $11 to $12 each. So I used, I think the roses are $18 for that bush, and I used a whole bush of roses. But the peonies in the white and the pink are $11 a bush. And so I have 1.5 of the white, I have 1 of the pink, and I have probably 1.5 of the blue hydrangeas. So I'll add it up for you. I'll post underneath the video over on Facebook and kind of give you an idea. But it won't be terrible. I wouldn't think it's probably $125 or so. It won't be terribly expensive.
Carrie says, grabs hold to you, handle with care, LOL.
Yes.
Janine Marshall says, reminds me of Easter.
Yes, that's kind of what I was going for. Just a pretty Eastery wreath.
Annie says, thank you.
Of course, you're so welcome. Even any kind of eucalyptus, that's going to give you that good flow too. Different, types of drippy eucalyptus are always fun. All right, just about got my flowers in.
Miss Judy Bennett says it's a beautiful wreath.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Okay, next we're going to come in with some more greenery. So I have all of these pretty pieces that I cut off of my roses. So you don't want your wreath to be so flat. It looks pretty flat. Even with me standing next to it, it's pretty flat. So you're going to take some stems to give it some movement and a little bit of dimension. So you don't want everything to be on the same level. So when you use greenery, try to find some that has a little bit of a trailing look and kind of tuck that in. You don't want everything, you never want it flat or too flat.
Miss Margaret, it's the sirens went off for a tornado, but I just checked on Google and it says we're just under a tornado watch right now.
Well, and those sirens, in Tuesday, the day that they go off.
Oh yeah, they do. They also, I don't know if it's is it every Tuesday?
Yeah, I think every Tuesday they usually do
they like to do like a siren test too.
But I think it's usually at lunchtime.
Dennis says, just lovely, you could add Easter eggs for Easter.
Absolutely, or you could add a pretty bunny if you wanted to. If you had an Easter bunny, you could tuck him in. And you can see me, these are all those little strings from the glue. If you see me kind of pulling, it's because I'm just pulling those strings off. But really, this is one of those wreaths that you could use your leftovers. This could be a leftovers wreath where you just went in your craft stash and you found different blooms. It does not have to be these pastels. You could absolutely use really any color you wanted to and just go full and showy. You just want to, when using that Christmas base, you just want to try to be sure to cover it. But again, I'm just going to use the different leaves and I'm just going to tuck anywhere where I think I'm seeing the Christmas wreath. I'm just going to kind of come in and kind of cover it with some of my leaves from my different flowers that I used.
Cam. Oh, Cam's now watching on YouTube.
Cam's just switching up, huh?
He said he had to let his phone charge.
Oh,
so he
gotcha.
had to switch. Christina says, good afternoon from Louisiana.
Hello, friend. Thank you for being here.
Carrie says, bad day for a test siren. LOL, folks will be getting in the closet.
Right? I think that usually that happens at noon. And usually they give us a phone call when that happens.
Miss Dawn asks if you'll be adding a bow.
Well, I have some ribbon, Miss Dawn, that I thought would really be pretty, so we will see what we think. I'm going to stand back. I think I see some Christmas right there and right there. It's so big and showy, isn't it? Now, listen, you can use any size wreath form. This one happened to be, I think, a 24-inch wreath form. If you have an 18-inch, you can certainly use an 18-inch. If you had a 15-inch, you can always make it bigger by adding stuff to it. So this one it's a fairly large wreath. I will say you don't have to make them this large, but you could absolutely, this could be your leftover wreath with leftover balloons if you wanted to. So I'm going to come in now with a little bit of bead grass, and I am just going to tuck it here and there and leave it kind of poking out a little bit.
Zenaida's Designs on TikTok says it's so pretty.
Oh, thank you, friend. Thank you, thank you.
Gary Barnes says, just gorgeous. What type of hot glue are you using?
I am using just pan glue. So you can purchase this from any of your floral wholesalers. You can purchase it from Hobby Lobby. You could purchase it from Amazon. This is just a hot glue pan or a hot glue skillet. And I buy the little pellets, the little hot glue pellets that you can drop down in here. Now, if you don't have any pellets and you have the sticks, they will certainly go in there too. I just like the pellets because they're easy, but either way works great. I like a hot glue skillet way better than a glue gun. It doesn't blister as bad. And the reason is often you will turn your temperature to make sure your glue is about the consistency of honey. And so if it's the consistency of honey, it's not likely going to drip as bad as if it was hotter. If it's hotter and it drips, it's going to drip on you just like a hot glue gun. But I find I am so much faster using a glue pan than I am with a glue gun. And glue guns are just so mean. They just blister so bad.
Ladine says, maybe just tufts of ribbon in a few spots.
I could, yes. I'm going to show you the ribbon that I thought that I would use and see what y'all think. It really will scream Easter.
Carrie says, won a huge wreath one time, got it home and realized it was on a 10-inch grapevine wreath. The maker had done a great job using long stems.
Isn't that wonderful, though? It's really neat to kind of see how other people do it. That's why I really enjoy watching different videos, to see how other people do it. And just with Ashley doing it on this Christmas wreath, I thought, oh, I could do that. I've never done that before. I can do that on a video. Next we are going, I have another piece of that rose greenery.
Zenaida's Designs on TikTok says, oh wow, I need one of those. I struggle with glue guns so much.
Oh, they blister so bad. This one I just purchased on Amazon. Now, when you purchase on Amazon though, be sure to look at the dimensions. I bought one that's about this big. It's tiny. Now it works perfect. It's not a problem. The fact is often we will stand side by side. Callie and I may stand side by side and make arrangements, faux flower arrangements. And so it's nice to have one big enough that you don't have to add glue constantly and that two of you can work at the same time. Next I'm going to come in with a little bit of this lavender, just a pretty little lavender. And I'm not going to put much. I'm going to just pop just a few sprigs here and there. I'm going to take my snips and cut it apart.
Erlina Cortez says, you are a talented designer. Thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Oh.
Greetings from Long Beach, California.
Thank you so much, friend. Thank you. I'm so thankful you're here.
Snazzy Sock says, really beautiful, Monty. Those yellow roses really stand out.
Aren't they fun? I just thought that they were perfect. Just perfect. Now this lavender in the video, I think it's going to be a little hard to see. And it's strictly because purple is a receding color. It's just not an easy color to see unless you're right up on it. But I think it gives us just a little bit of a different color and just a little bit of a pop of spring.
Greg Cockerum says, it is beautiful. Please pray for the weather here in North Carolina. I think it's 100% chance of rain and wind tomorrow.
We will certainly pray, Gray.
Carrie says, Mother Nature is trying to blow me away. She needs to calm down.
I tell you, Mother Nature has been something, isn't it? March is always so windy. Anyway, and I had to go out and take the trash out this morning. And so I picked up all of the trash that had blown in the yard. There's a shopping center right across the street from us. And I promise people just sit over there and empty out their trash in the parking lot so it blows up here, which is so annoying. But the wind was so, it's been really windy all day.
Jenny Marshall on YouTube says, I think it's beautiful, Monty.
Thank you, friend. Thank you, thank you. All right, so there are all of our flowers in the wreath. It's kind of a close-up. I told you it's hard to see that lavender, but it gives us a little bit of a dimension. See how it kind of stands out from the wreath? Next, I thought that I would grab some ribbon and see what we think, whether we want to add ribbon or not. So the ribbon that I really like is this pretty plaid. It's just a really pretty plaid. We have boxed up most of our ribbon from our Shopify website. I wondered, is there a wide that is a plaid?
Not that color. Or not that.
I thought that hot pink really screams spring. So I'm going to make a quick bow. If we don't like it, we don't have to use it. I may have to run in there and grab some wire. Let me go do that really quickly, Victoria.
Thank you, Miss Nancy and Miss Gail. Thank you, guys.
Don't forget my squeaky shoes. They're so squeaky.
Pamela says, if March comes in like a lion, it will go out like a lamb, as the old saying goes. I've never heard that.
Have you never heard that? My mama used to say it when I was a kid. Or if you're born in March, you're windy-headed, Mama would say. Mom had 2 windy-headed babies. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means I'm ditzy or what exactly that means. Okay, I am going to make a center loop. So this is a wired ribbon. I'm going to roll it and make just a tiny little center loop. I don't know if y'all can see that at all. It's kind of hard to see. I'm going to do a twist and make a loop, a twist and a loop. And I'm going to make a good many loops. And I'm making them pretty large because my wreath is really pretty large.
Don Miller says that yes, there is a wide plaid ribbon on our Shopify.
I've got to go and dig, but you won't find it today. For Valentine's Day, we had to kind of box everything up because it was just hard to spread out in here. So we boxed everything up.
Cam says when he was filming Sunday for a video, the wind was horrendous. He was freezing.
Oh, were you on the beach, Cam? All right, I'm going to leave some long tails. So I'm going to drop this in the floor. It's so much easier. How I like to do tails is I just take a piece of that ribbon and I catch it like right in my hands where I'm holding that bow, and then I'm going to take another streamer and do the same. Take a piece of wire and run it through that loop. Now with this wreath, you can choose any color that's in the flowers. You do not have to do this Easter plaid. You can really do anything you want to. So I never want you to feel like you are limited by anything that you see. You can really be creative and have fun with your colors.
Cam says, yes ma'am, Jekyll Island, Georgia.
I'm just going to take my wire and I am going to hook that from the wall.
Carrie says, well, the lion is roaring in Wayne County tonight.
It is roaring in Starkville, Mississippi for sure.
Con Cone says the ribbon adds the perfect finishing touch.
Thanks, Con. Thank you. How's your mama doing? We are still praying for her. This ribbon really pulls on every color that I put in here. It pulls that purple from the heather. It pulls the pinks. Now, of course, it is a hot pink, but it pulls the blue from the hydrangea, and it's just a little bit bolder than the colors in all the flowers, but I think that's kind of fun.
Cam says, love the bow, very springy, so ready for spring.
We are too, Cam.
Thank you, Miss Gloria. Hello, Miss Donna.
Hey, you can kind of make those tails. I always like to crinkle my tails, but if you don't like that, you can leave them straight. But that's just kind of fun. If you want to change it up, you don't have to put that bow. Honestly, the bow kind of even takes away from the wreath. But you can kind of do it however you want to. I really think I like it just all by itself. Just simple. But you could even take and cut these tails shorter, or even tuck them in deeper so that they don't take away. There's so many things you can do with it. But there is our, I like that I think a little better because you can see all those pretty flowers. But there is our finished wreath.
Con says, thank you for your prayers. Mama is getting a little stronger, still having therapy.
Oh, I'm so thankful to hear she's getting stronger. Bless her heart.
Yeah, I think a few people like it better without the bow.
Without the bow?
But some people like it with the bow. Miss Martha says, love those spring flowers. I knew there would be some yellow in there.
Yes, you know I can't make anything without a little bit of yellow. I'm going to pull that bow off again just so that you can see it without the bow. But it's an easy way to transform a wreath. If you have a wreath and you want something different this year, add a different ribbon. Anytime you add ribbon, you're going to change it and make it a little different.
They're saying it's beautiful.
I could even see maybe in the springtime or after Easter, you could certainly add like a little wall hanging that has an Easter bunny on it for Easter. Put some Easter eggs in it if you wanted to. And then after Easter, I could almost see even a little watering can tucked in. But really, anything works to just kind of change it up a little. If you wanted to pop some brighter tones after Easter, you want to come in and pop some brighter colors, you absolutely could. The sky is the limit when it comes to a wreath like this. Really, you can make it, you can transform it very easily by just popping a little bit of color in there.
They're saying it's beautiful.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Are there any more questions? We're good? Thank y'all for being here. Thank you so very much. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up or a heart. That just helps us to be seen. A free way to support our little flower shop. Do me a favor. If you have not already followed us on all the platforms, go and hit that follow button on all the platforms. We are on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. So y'all come and follow us on all those platforms. If you have any questions about how we do things at Flowers by the Bunch, we are so happy to answer any questions you might have. You can send it to me in Messenger. You can email me. You can call me at the flower shop. I am so happy to answer any of your questions. I will be back first thing in the morning at 8 o'clock, I will do a video for our brand new devotion. We will do a devotion for Lent. So we will have a devotion every single day for the next 40 days. Check us out over on Facebook at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we will have our new devotion. Guys, y'all have a